Hey, how y'all doing today? I'm Anthony, you're watching Palmetto Prepared, and today we are going to do another episode 2 of the End of the World Nutrition series, and it is going to be on protein. Now we are going to be discussing 5 topics in this video. First thing is, what is it? Second, why is it important? Number 3, how much do I need? Number 4, what happens if I don't get enough of it? And number 5, sources. Where to find it. Cool? Let's go ahead and get started. What is it? Well, the short answer is it a macronutrient that is essential to building muscle. Slightly longer answer, it is amino acid molecules of organic compounds that are made up of carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, or sulfur that combine to make up the building blocks of your cellular structure. Cool? Do you have no idea what that means? Let's keep going. Alright, why is it important? Well, amino acids, and that's what I'm going to refer to proteins from now on in the rest of this video, amino acids, because protein is kind of the one big word that encompasses all the aminos, so we're just going to call them amino acids. Now, amino acids are required for the structure, function, and regulation of the body's tissues and organs, and it is also important for the synthesis of hormones and neurotransmitters. What that means is, without protein, you can't remake cells in your body. Cool? So, more specifically, muscle, nerve cells, that kind of thing. Like, you can't make new ones because your body's constantly having to replace those cells. And without protein, you can't replace them. Alright, now, how much do I need? Well, if you look at the back of your food, most of the time on the little nutritional chart, you're going to see at the bottom, protein is going to give you an amount of grams. Now, the National Academy of Medicine, I'm looking down because I'm reading my notes, National Academy of Medicine recommends a minimum of 7 grams for every 20 pounds of body weight. So being a 200-pound person, you would need 70 grams minimum per day. If you are like me and you're 240 pounds, you need 84 grams minimum per day. Now, 2 things I wanted to add here. Women don't usually need as much protein as males, so that's a plus. However, if you are pregnant, you need actually more than males, since you are now responsible for 2 bodies that need cellular restructuring, rebuilding, growth, all that kind of fun stuff. So if you are pregnant, I know especially with my wife when she was pregnant, it was just very difficult to keep down food, especially in that beginning, but you have to because it's very essential for growth. So pregnant women definitely need to eat more protein, almost even more than males, so just keep that part in mind, minimum. Alright, what happens if I can't get enough? So say there is an SHTF scenario, say you are living on your food stores at the house and you failed to prepare adequately and you did not prepare or store enough food that has a lot of protein in it. So you are living below your minimum for a certain amount of time. Well, what's going to end up happening is if you're a teenager or child or younger, and you're still growing, you're basically going to have a failure of growth rate. So if your growth plates are still going, you haven't quite maxed out your potential yet, you're not going to reach it because obviously you need protein to grow. Another thing is you're going to lose muscle mass. So say you don't have to go to the gym. Say you have a job working, unloading trucks or whatever, and you've built up that muscle from constantly doing that, unloading and loading, all that stuff. Well, you're going to lose that muscle. Point blank. If you don't have enough protein, you're not going to be able to maintain your muscle mass. Your body's going to steal the protein it needs from your muscles and use it elsewhere. So you will lose your muscle mass. Next thing is weakening of your immune system. A lot of people don't realize that protein is essential to building your immune system because one of the amino acids especially is very, what's a good word? It's very important in the production of hemoglobin, red blood cells, that kind of thing, and obviously red blood cells and white blood cells being part of your immune system, and red blood cells, everything kind of carries it there, blood flow, that kind of fun stuff. So if you don't have, long story short, if you don't have enough protein, your body can't fight disease as efficiently as if it did have enough protein. So that's why you see a lot of people that are malnourished having a lot of issues fighting off disease. And that's kind of one of the things I really wanted to hit on hardcore in this video. If we do find ourselves in that kind of situation, the first thing that's going to take a lot of people out is bad water, because a lot of people don't understand how to process water these days. And the second thing that's going to take a lot of people out is disease, illness and disease, because I can guarantee there's probably over half the population walking around right now that are malnourished, that are eating junk food and crap all day, with no nutritional profile hardly at all, basically being filled with fortified foods, that the minute they can't get their fortified foods, they're already malnourished state. They're going to be completely malnourished and they're going to start working on a deficit. If they start working on a deficit, then their immune system function is going to be even worse than it already is, and they're going to be susceptible to a lot of illnesses and diseases. So I would definitely venture to say within the first few weeks, you're going to see a lot of illnesses pop up, especially on ones that didn't prepare adequately. So definitely, weakening the immune system is one of the harsh realities of not getting enough protein. And last is a weakening of the circulatory, breathing, and brain function. So all these culminating together, what does that mean? If you don't get enough protein, you die. Cool. Let's move on. And now we are here at the sources. This part is where it's going to get very tricky, and I'm going to try to break it down Barney style as easy as possible. Now, if you have a background or you understand amino acids or you have a little bit of prior knowledge to proteins and whatnot, this is going to be a little bit more basic, but I'm going to try to gradually bring everybody along so we're all on the same page. Basically, when it comes to sources, you have to look at protein sources as complete and incomplete. Now, what does that mean? Like I said, protein is a culminating of amino acids. There are 20 amino acids, but this is very, very important. But there's a difference between amino acids and essential amino acids, and I'm going to explain that now. Amino acids, there are 20 of them. 11 of which, if you are a normal, healthy individual that doesn't have cancer or something, you can make in your own body, just sitting there, you can make 11 of them. Your body can synthesize those, can create those out of your, existence. So you're fine. Then you go to essential amino acids. The reason why these are called essential amino acids is because you have to eat them. You have to find them. They have to be a part of your diet. Okay? So normal amino acids you can make in your body. Essential amino acids you have to find in your diet. And this is where it gets very important in terms of how you eat. This is why this video I wanted to do as episode 2, because it is just that important. Now, when it comes down to complete protein sources, like I was mentioning earlier, you have complete and you have incomplete protein. A complete protein source has all 9 of those essential amino acids. An incomplete protein source has 7, 8 of those. Doesn't have all 9. All right? Now, the complete protein sources that have all 9 are as follows: meats, seafood, poultry, eggs, dairy. All right? And for you vegetarians or vegans, that also includes soy, quinoa, or quinoa. So it's a certain grain that you usually get from South America, and buckwheat. Those are the 3 vegetarian that have a complete profile. Now, obviously in enough abundance where you're not overloading yourself eating to get whatever, but I'll explain that in a second. Now, incomplete protein profiles are found in grains, legumes, potatoes, etc. That's why if you are a normal omnivore, if you eat meat, then you never have to worry about this. But if you are a vegetarian or a vegan, you have to constantly be able to understand that the foods you eat, you need to have a good diversity. That's why soy is usually put into a lot of these, because soy is a complete protein. So if you don't want to eat soy, yet you're a vegetarian or a vegan, you're not getting a complete protein. However, there are ways to get that, and I'm going to explain that now. Say you want to be a vegetarian or vegan, or actually, how about this? If there is an SHTF scenario, there's probably a good chance that hunting is only going to be around for about a month. Because everybody and their mom's going to go out in the woods with guns and shoot everything they possibly could see. So then the animals are going to become scarce. So it's going to be very hard to find meat. Okay? So whatever you didn't stash, you're now going to have to either forage or grow your own. So if we go back to an agrarian society where we're growing our own food, unless you have livestock, you're probably not going to get a source of meat. So say we got to grow our own food, all right? And we have to grow our complete protein sources. Well, say we want to grow legumes, beans. Everybody knows beans. Beans are high in protein. Yes, they're high in protein, but they're missing 1 amino acid to make it complete, and that's methionine. If you go back to my things you should be stashing peanut butter video, you'll see that methionine is lacking in beans and legumes. However, the good thing about the vegetable world is you can always add something to it to make a complete protein. So beans being very high in lysine but very low in methionine, all you have to do is pair another grain, it's like say a grain, and you can get that methionine. Since your average grains like rice is very high in methionine but low in lysine, if you add the two together, rice and beans, congratulations, boom, you now have a full protein, a complete protein profile. We all on the same page here? And that's the main thing I wanted to hit here in this video. Immune function for sure, but these 9 essential amino acids, you have to make sure you're getting a complete. Now, you don't have to eat it in the same meal. Not every single meal has to be rice and beans or bread and peanut butter, that kind of thing. Like you don't have to do that in every single meal, because your liver is capable of storing essential amino acids and basically on deck until it gets that next meal that has the other amino acid needs. Then it will combine and you're good to go. So you don't have to worry about eating it in the same meal every single time. You can eat rice for breakfast and beans for lunch, and boom, you got a complete protein. I'm just giving you a heads up. That's how your liver functions. But you need to make sure that you're not forgetting one essential amino acid, because then you're going to run a deficiency, lysine deficiency, leucine, that kind of thing, and it can make you very sick. So each one of these amino acids, each one of these essential amino acids has a specific function. I'm not going to go through it in this video because that'd probably be entirely too dry and I might lose some of y'all, but it's very important. I just wanted to go ahead and throw that out there. And finally, one thing I wanted to add for all my lifters, my experienced protein fiends out there, the ones that like to eat a little bit of protein. If you wanted to gain muscle, if you wanted to, say, work out and put on extra muscle that your body's not really designed for, then you're going to want to shoot for about 1 to 1.5 grams of protein per body weight, or per pound of body weight. So if you weigh 200 pounds, you want to get at least 200 grams to 300 grams. That's how you build muscle. Okay, that's a lot to eat, but that's how you do it. Also, if you go to the supplement store and you look at a powdered supplement that has, say, BCAAs on it, that's called branched chain amino acids, and that's 3. That consists of 3 amino acids, meaning valine, leucine, and isoleucine. Basically, those are the big 3 in terms of putting on muscle, because they're in charge of muscle metabolism, muscle repair, and muscle growth. So, like I said, each one of these amino acids is very important. Some of them are required to be able to absorb calcium, or are required to be able to absorb zinc. So you can't ignore them. They all have to be eaten. I hope this video helped everybody. If you have any other questions, or you want me to go any bit farther in depth, by all means drop it down in the comment section below and I'll see if I can answer it for you. I hope you learned something. Again, like I said, this is kind of an important subject. That's why I wanted to start with protein, because I do enjoy talking about this kind of stuff a lot. If you learned something, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and I will catch y'all later, okay?